All right, Shalom. We're the brothers of Great Millstone, the branch on Des Moines. First and foremost, we would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachakodash.
double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all you brothers who are preaching the gospel of truth and in sincerity, always in charity. And as you can see, the title of the lesson is entitled Just Another Testimony. And it's inspired through the Holy Spirit. You know, pretty much brothers, is catching hell all over, man. Brothers are going through trials, tribulations, and afflictions, that's tailor made unto their life. And the Spirit gave me this title, because it goes back into the big bro, the elder brother, Micah Allah. I remember he did a lesson a while back and he spoke about, you don't want to be at the table, what I'm saying, Lord's will, Yahweh Shem Sharatazah, being at the table of Yahweh Shai, and you ain't got a testimony or you ain't got a story. You know what I'm saying? You got all these different brothers, man, sitting at this table and they talking about the trials and tribulations and afflictions that they were in and that the Lord miraculously delivered them out of, man. And you don't want to sit there not having one. So that's where the inspiration of this title, this lesson comes from, just another testimony. See, whatever we're going through, know that we already have the victory out of it according to First John, because let's start with that. It speaks about our faith. Because our faith, man, is the most powerful thing that we have, man. Don't underestimate the gift of faith that's been given us, to be able to believe in these precepts, man, to stand on these precepts when we in those moments of distress, when we in those moments of pressure, when certain things is heavy on our minds, man. These certain precepts, right, should be what's the word? Prevalent, but it also meditating throughout our mind, man. For lack of a better word, because that word meditate in Hebrew goes into Hebrew word hagah, which goes or hagayawan,
Resound of music.
but the root word is hagah, but it's a resounding song, man, meaning a tune that plays in your head over and over again, and that's how these precepts have to be. It tells us to be careful for nothing, right? When you read that in another translation, it speaks about being anxious. Don't be nervous for nothing, but in all things and in prayer, make thy supplication known to the Heavenly Father. I'm roughly paraphrasing the precept, by the way. So here it is. These different scriptures allow us to what? Allow us to be free from care. It speaks about a wisdom of Solomon. Matter of fact, I ain't just gonna keep quoting these precepts. I'm gonna get them. You got it out.
God, this is First John chapter 5 and verse 4. It says, "For whatsoever is born of the Most High overcometh the world, and this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith."
Even our faith, man. What do Yahweh shall say? He told us that in the world we shall have tribulation. In me you shall have peace, right? That Bible shot. Can a brother find that? Search that up real quick. He said, "In me you shall have peace, but in the world you shall have tribulation." But he said, "What?" I'm gonna let the brother get it. I want to quote it. I want to, you know what I'm saying? Because hey, these precepts are powerful, man. These precepts are powerful, and these are the words, right? These is the things we use to lift up the people. What it says, the weak hands and the feeble knees. Matter of fact, I'm gonna grab that in the book of Isaiah, man.
John, real quick. Well, I was just gonna make a quick point, man, that these words they're powerful when they're mingled with faith. So that's the key thing, man. We really have to believe in these words, man. Like we was talking about different things in the spirit, different things that the Lord is gonna allow us to use, or different areas that He's gonna allow to be touched in our lives, or whatever the case may be. We have to have the faith to know that we're gonna receive all these things in the kingdom anyways, man. All right, so having the faith to count all things done, knowing that we're gonna receive it anyways. So just different things, man. That has power if you believe it, you know, to where you can suffer losing certain things, or going through different trials and tribulations, and knowing that you're going to receive it is faith in what? Knowing I'm going to get it later. All right. And these different precepts, man, believing in them, that's where the power comes. It says, not that the word had none effect. Well, that's not the one I was trying to quote, but pretty much these things got to be mingled with faith. I was just
right. It says it didn't profit them because it wasn't mingled with faith, and then they heard it.
Yeah.
This is Isaiah 35 and 3. It says, "Strengthen ye the weak hands and confirm the feeble knees," which we all get at certain points within our walk, right? But how are we strengthened? through the Comforter,
Yeah.
through the Holy Spirit, right? It says, verse 4, say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your power will come with vengeance, even the Most High with the recompense. He will come and save you, right? Now, that's ultimately talking about what the deliverance at the end, but we can apply that to whatever situation we might be in, we're in now, or that we might be in in the future, man. You see, these precepts, man, it allows us to keep everything together.
Yeah.
It allows us to hold it together. The Isaiah 26, right? Hit my Bible shot. Hit that, John.
Con. This is St. John chapter 16, verse 33. It says, these things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace.
In me ye shall have peace. This is Isaiah 26 and 3. Thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. So as long as our mind is stayed on Yahweh Shai, in him is peace. Right? So that's talking about mentally. See, if our mind is set upon Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai, then we will have that peace, that comfort, that stability within our spirit. Go ahead.
Con, it says, in the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world.
He had overcome the world, and we have too through our faith that's given unto us, man. But he did say what? In the world we shall have tribulation. So that's a given. We gonna go through these different things.
Yep.
But keep in mind, it's just another testimony, right? And I looked up that word testimony. We know that it goes to testes. Men have testes, right? But I just wanted to read the full definition of it. It says testimony, circa 1400. It says proof or demonstration of some fact or evidence, legal testimony, sworn statement of a witness. It says from Latin testimonium, evidence, proof, witness, right? So this witness, right, or proof that we're showing forth is that the Lord is real. So nobody can say that Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shai don't exist. No, we have these different testimonies, right? We have these different, for lack of a better word, testimonies. We have these different stories of salvation that we have within our walk that shows forth, that bears witness that the Lord is true, man. You got something?
Yeah, this is 2 Timothy 3 and 10. But thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, faith, long suffering, charity, patience, persecutions, afflictions, which came unto me at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra, what persecutions I endured, but out of them all the Lord delivered me. All right, and that's the just understanding that we'll be delivered out of all of these things, man. All right, at the end of the day, I always like thinking about the example with John. All right, and Ezra, man. All right, they saw those men getting crowned. Okay, those elect are being crowned by Yahweh Shai. So it's like, here it is. It doesn't matter what those men are going through and the persecutions and the afflictions that they're dealing with right now. That is going to be the end result. They're going to eventually get to that point, man. All that are of the elect. So the things that we go through and that we suffer through, man, what is just another testimony?
Yeah.
All right, all those men, those different things. Didn't it say in the book of Revelation? These are they that have come out of great tribulation.
Yep.
So they have testimonies of being delivered out of great tribulation. And that's the things that we're going through, man.
Yep.
And I was just gonna quote it because it says through much tribulation we shall enter into the kingdom. So we're gonna have to go through these different trials and tribulations, or these different experiences to help us grow, and the Lord is gonna be right there with us. We was mentioning earlier. The brothers were speaking earlier, and I was just thinking, it's just all about perspective, of how we see things, man. The brother, you was mentioning how you have to put yourself out of the situation and look at it from a different perspective, to actually understand and to reason better, but
Yeah.
I just want to make that statement.
It's First Thessalonians 3 and 1. It says, wherefore, when we could no longer forbear, we thought it good to be left at Athens alone, and sent Timotheus, our brother and minister of the Most High, and our fellow laborer in the gospel of Yahweh Shai, to establish you and to comfort you concerning your faith. So Timothy was sent in order to what? To strengthen the weak hands and the feeble knees that we read in Isaiah, right? It says to establish you and to comfort you concerning your faith. Verse 3, that no man should be moved by these afflictions, for yourselves know that we are appointed thereunto.
Yeah.
You know, so we are appointed unto these things. In the book of Second Ezra, the 7th chapter, it tells us that this is the lot. It says that narrow path so small that only one man can go there at once. That's what our trials and tribulations in these situations that are tailor made to us.
Right.
That's why only one man can go there at once,
Mhm.
because the next man can't. How can I word this, man? The next man can't deliver you out of the pain that you're going through in your mind and your life, man. You know,
Yeah.
the next man can't have a faith for you to guide you or to help you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope I make sense in what I'm trying to articulate. You know?
Well, like we mentioned at certain times before in different conversations, man, nobody can stand on that precept for you. All right, you're gonna have to believe in that precept and walk according to that, man. Nobody else can do it for you. A brother can come and give you precepts and comfort you.
Can't make you believe it.
He can't make you believe
You
it.
can lead the horse to water.
Yep.
You can't make him drink it though. You know?
He can't make you stand on it. All right, a brother can give you all the precepts. Oh yeah, brother, this and that, and they're all words of comfort, but it's gonna take you and your faith to actually stand and walk on that precept.
Well, faith is what allows that precept to actually comfort you.
Yeah.
You know, it's belief in that precept is what puts your mind at ease.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's why because at certain times, man, different things that we battle with at times, it's really dealing with really our faith being needing to be increased. Even one of the disciples, or it might have been one of the men whom the Lord was gonna heal, but he said, Lord, I believe, help me with my unbelief. And the disciples, they're the ones that prayed to that the Lord increase their faith. All right, so the different things that we go through, all right, really it's our faith that needs to be increased in a particular precept. We deal with certain things. It's like, now I gotta have more faith that I'm gonna get it anyways, man. Just like we was talking about the faith of Abraham. All right, when Abraham, in his older age, all right, the Lord gave him that son, and then turned around and said he was gonna take him away. All right, but he still had the faith that he was gonna receive Isaac again. Even if he had to lose him, even if he had to actually sacrifice him, he was literally about to sacrifice him, man. But having that faith to know that I'll get all these things again, man. So the more that we believe in these things, the more that we can let go of certain things. All right, the more that we can walk in that spirit, man, to not be affected by this lucky.
right back in First Thessalonians 3:3, that no man should be moved by these afflictions. And when you go into that word "move,"
That's the spirit. I was going to put the affliction
on. 1 Thessalonians 3:3, you go into that word "move." It's the Greek word "saino," and it goes into says wag the tail, to flatter, to fawn, to move, to be moved in the mind. The Strong's definition, it says to shake, figuratively, disturb. So to be disturbed in the mind. Now, what did it say in I believe that's Luke the 22nd chapter? Yahweh told to Peter. He said, Peter, how did he say, Simon, Simon?
Yeah.
Behold, Satan desires to sift you as wheat. Now, when you go into that word sift, is what? Is to disturb or to shake by inward agitation, man.
Yeah.
So what Paul here is telling us that we shouldn't be moved. So we shouldn't be shaken or sifted by these different things that we're going through, man. Right?
Yeah. And just to keep in, because that word agitate itself, it means to toss violently. All right. So that's what happens, man. Satan was trying to throw this and that and the third in your mind and toss your mind so violently, man, to where we're losing sight of what's written, the precepts of what the Lord said, man.
Yeah, and then what happens, man? We start to move rashly.
Right. Start making haste.
And man, going back to Isaiah 35, I'm gonna hold that. Just go back to Isaiah 35 real quick, because that was one of the
And that's why, like you had mentioned earlier, we was talking to Wadiyah Bashmi Awashad for these things that we go through now. All right, so that when we're going into tougher times, that we're being able to, or we're stable. All right, because we're already dealing with Satan trying to toss our mind violently, but what we're learning patience, We're learning to stay upon the precepts. We're learning to have faith. We're learning not to make haste and so on and so forth.
Right.
To where these people, when these things happen, they're going to just completely bug out. But what we're going through right now and being trained in these precepts and knowing how to apply them, this is causing us to where we're going to be able to not be moved by whatever the fuck is happening.
Well, what does the word endure?
To be made hard.
To harden, man. And that's exactly what the Lord is doing to us through these trials and tribulations. We gotta be made hard for the times we coming into.
Yeah.
You know,
Spiritual calluses is being built up.
to the point where nothing should be able to move us, man. Like we was talking about how Apostle Sahar made the statement, like, man, what if your woman?
Right.
Your woman go and take the sea hip and she take your children with her?
Right.
That's a possibility that could happen in these latter days.
And it's easy to dismiss that, be like, oh yeah, no, I mean, that ain't gonna happen to me, or you could brush it off, but the Lord is gonna put us in some. We're gonna be tried, all right. We're gonna be tried to the fullest extent, man, and our faith is gonna be pushed to the limits and everything like that. So we have to be able to, and no matter what situation that we're in, even if it's as tough as that, to where we keep pushing forward and we ain't gonna be moved. You know, and hey, you know, if that happens, I'm gonna see y'all in the kingdom. Quoted the precept in the book of Isaiah. What did he say? What are these who begotten me these? Talking about the children that he was gonna will receive and everything like that. But just having faith, like, all right, hey, well, if that's what it is, I'll get my woman in the kingdom. I'll get the children.
It's all
in the
on the
kingdom.
altar, man. Find that where Yahweh Shah said, he that forsaketh the mother, the father, right? But I'm going back into this Isaiah 35 and 4. Say to them that are of a fearful heart. So now the Spirit had me look up the word fearful, and that word fearful is the Hebrew word mahal, which means to hasten, to be hurried, be anxious, right? And that's what happens, man. When your mind is disturbed, when your mind is shooken, when your mind is moved out of that tranquility, that peace that's supposed to be, that that's supposed to be how we are in Yahweh Shah, like it said in that John. And what happens, man? It causes you to act rashly. It causes you to make haste. And Sirach, the 2nd chapter, tells us not to set thy heart aright, right? Constantly endure. Make not haste in a time of trouble. So even in those moments, which is hard, nobody said it would be easy, man. In those moments, it's hard, but what? We gotta apply these precepts to the best of our ability. You know, it speaks about how wisdom kept Abraham from his tender compassions for his son, man. Showing you those compassions were there, showing you those emotions were there, but those emotions didn't sway his reasoning. Those emotions, he didn't make haste, right? It didn't sway his judgment or how he moved. Same way we should be, right? But I'm gonna jump back. I just wanted to get that Hebrew word for fearful. Back in 1 Thessalonians 3:3, that no man should be moved by these afflictions.
Right, and that word afflictions, when you look it up, it goes into pressure. You know, and I always think about how that relates to Yahweh Shai being in the Garden of Gethsemane. That word Gethsemane means what? An oil press, right? So just like Yahweh Shai, he had to go through that intense pressure, all right? That intense,
the root word. Because when you look it up, it's ellipsis. That's the Greek word. It says a pressing together, pressure. When you go, it says metaphorically oppression, affliction, tribulation, distress, straits. Right? You go to the root word. The root word says to press as grapes.
Man,
I
never went to the root word of it. That's the spirit.
It says press hard upon, narrow, straightened. Right? It tells about the narrow way.
Yeah.
Going through the straight gate. Right? It says metaphorically to trouble, to afflict, to distress. In the Strong's definition, it says to suffer tribulation, to suffer persecution, man.
That's it. But that shows you that it's heavy. Like, it ain't nothing light. Everything brothers go through, man. Every heart knows its own bitterness. What Yahweh Shai went through, man, that was heavy, intense pressure on him. You know, we're gonna all go be in different situations where it's intense pressure.
Was tailor made to us. Going back into so small, only one man could go there at once. The next man can't get you through it. Like the brother beautifully explained. You gotta stand on that precept. The brother can't stand on the precept for you. You gotta stand on the rock through whatever situation you're going through. You know, however it may play out. In all our situations, man, we gotta stand on these precepts, man. You know,
Hey, and just because you said however it may play out, because even with Yahweh Shai, man, he prayed to the Heavenly Father and asked if there was another way. But the Heavenly Father didn't answer him, showing you that that was the way that he had to go.
Yeah.
So it's certain things where it's like you might be praying and hoping that it'll go a certain way. It says that the hope of the godly is only good, right? But then the situation might not plan out how you want it.
well, because it ain't how the Lord planned it out,
And that's
man.
the thing, accepting the will of the Heavenly Father.
Not my will, but thy will. That's the example that Yahweh Shah left us. And I was going to mention Job. It spoke about how Job sacrificed for his children, right? Because he said maybe they cursed the Lord or they sinned. Like I forgot how it was worded, but he sacrificed for his children. So his hope was that his children would what? You know, be cool. But yet, what happened though? And even after that happened, he said, "What shall we not receive good of the Most High and evil?"
Did that stop him?
You know. So even though his hope and expectation was he didn't want his children to, you know, but yet that's what happened because that was the plan, that was the will of the Lord. And since we're talking about that, if I can grab this real quick, it's the book of 2nd Esdras 10 and verse Salaki. 2nd Esdras 10 and 14. Then say I unto thee, like as thou hast brought forth with labor, even so the earth also hath given her fruit, namely man, ever since the beginning unto him that made her. Now, just to give you a backdrop of what I'm reading, Esdras was in the wilderness, or he was in the field, and he seen a woman out there crying, and she was mourning for her son. Now, when you read the totality of the story, this is a vision that the Lord gave him, so it wasn't an actual woman there, but early on, Esdras really thought, you know what I'm saying, that was an actual woman, right? So this is the counsel that he's given, you know, what he believes to be a woman. This verse 15. Now, therefore, keep thy sorrow to thyself and bear with a good courage that which hath befallen thee, right? So he was saying, look, you only lost one son, but look at our nation. You know, he talking about how he said, man, our virgins are raped. He said our priests are defiled. He said our young men is you know is killed. He said our temple is burned. You know, just roughly paraphrasing those different things that he spoke about we were going through. But verse 15 it says, now therefore keep thy sorrow to thyself and bear with a good courage that which hath befallen thee. For if thou shalt acknowledge, so this is his counsel he's given unto this woman who lost her son, right? Her son died. How did she say it in the marriage chamber, right? Which once again, it was all a vision, and it was an analogy that was given. But Esdras, in his reasoning, he thought it was an actual woman. Once again, verse 16. For if thou shalt acknowledge the determination of the Most High to be just, thou shalt both receive thy son in time and shall be commended amongst women. So it's the same thing with us. You know, if we determine, right, if we reason that however things play out, it's just, right? That's the will of Yahweh Basham Yahushua. Then we're going to get back whatever we lost, and we're going to be commended for it, man. You know? And that's going to that Matthew 19. Is one of you brothers holding it?
Yeah, I got it. This is Matthew 19 and verse 29.
You can start at 27.
27. Okay, come on. It says, then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee.
Now, when we was talking earlier, right? He's saying it as when he came into the faith, he had all those things that he had to leave, he had to forsake when he came into the faith and started following the Lord, right? Now we got to be mindful. Whatever the Lord gives us after we started following him is still on the altar, man. it's still the mentality should be forsaken. Because we was talking when we mentioned Abraham. Abraham wasn't given Isaac until what? After he started following the Lord. You see? But yet he was still put into a position where he had to forsake him. So that goes back into Job. Whatever the Lord gives us, man, can be, what he said, naked I came in, naked I shall go out. So that includes whatever we might have. And once again, it's just another testimony. When you go into that, once again, that word testimony goes into testes. What did the Lord tell Job?
Gird up thy loins.
Like a man, and answer thou me.
I would demand of thee.
That's a testimony, right? That's a true testimony right there, man.
Man, because we used to always bring that up. Here it is. Imagine telling somebody after they lost all their children, they lost their health, to turn around and be like, gird up.
All his wealth.
All this, like, gird up. You know what I'm saying? I would seem insensitive or whatever, but hey, the heavenly talk, hey, look, you got to gird up. So even in this flesh, it's like we deal with our emotions, but then we have to get to a point to where we gird up through the faith and belief that was written. And once again, these things are easier said than done, but that's what we're being exercised in, because this mentality is we're gonna have this, and the things that we're gonna have to go through and what's ahead through Jacob's trouble. Once again, the Apostle Char brought up those different examples. If that happens, we have to gird up. Whatever happens, we have to gird up and keep moving forward, man. Even with Yahweh Shai, man, Yahweh Shai, he had to gird up in that time dealing with that intense pressure. And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is through our faith in what's written.
Yeah, but like once again, we was talking before the camera started rolling. King David, when he was fasting for the seed.
And I got it, because he said something mighty in that too.
And then after the Lord took the child, he rose up and started to eat again. His servants looked at him like, "Oh, when the child was sick, you was fasting and mourning. Now the child died, and you eat now, you joyful now, you going about your life." Like King David was like, "Well, what else I'm gonna do, man?"
Yeah, he accepted the will.
But he girded his loins, like he girded himself up in that moment.
Curse himself.
Even when and our king went through hell, man. Because once again, another scenario where his son, he raised him from a child, right? All the way until he was a grown man. This grown man tried to kill his own father. Just imagine how King David felt. This is my son, this is my seed, and he trying to kill me. I'm on the run. I'm hiding in this cave because of my own son. So then when they brought him word that Absalom was dead, the King David, man, I'm glad that's over. No, he said that, "Oh, Absalom, Absalom, oh, Absalom." So you see the pain he felt when he found out his son died. But just imagine him coming against him. See, now the scriptures don't speak on those things. Those are things that we just have to extrapolate, man. Because the scriptures is a bridge. They don't tell you what he was feeling in that moment and his thought process, and it don't tell you all that, man. But when they came and told him Absalom was dead, he mourned for Absalom, man. So you don't think he was fucked up in his mind, man, that his son was coming against him? He mourned for Absalom so great that Joab had to come and rebuke him, man. He was like, "Bro, we just won a victory, but yet you mourning, you about to have the men of war look at you a certain way." What did King David have to do? He had to gird up. He went and changed his whole countenance. So basically, he couldn't even mourn for his son, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we're reading. This is what we're reading. These are our forefathers. This is what Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai brought our forefathers through. So what we're coming back into that. Like, we coming back into that, man.
Well, even brought up the example with Ezekiel. When the Lord told Ezekiel that I'm gonna take away the desire of thine eyes,
Yep.
you know, and then what that was the Lord saying that he was gonna take his wife.
Yep.
And then he told him that he couldn't weep over her,
Told him not to cry.
not to cry.
Keep in mind that was the desire of his eyes. Like he loved her, man.
Right. And like we coming into times where like and see in that situation, he had to gird up immediately. You know, certain times, you know, we might have time to where we could, you know, mourn over and everything like that. But there's certain times where we coming into it's like you ain't got time for it. You know, like shit might happen, woman bug out, some crazy shit. Hey, I ain't even got time to weep over this. I gotta keep it moving immediately.
Like Lot.
Yep, yep.
It didn't,
Right.
just once again, that's another extrapolation. It's like shit, he didn't even have time to mourn, like to
Right.
cry.
Right.
You know, he fleeing for his life once he got to the cave.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He seen his woman wasn't there. Where she at? You know? So man, and once again, the times that we coming into, see, the Lord is preparing us for something, man. You know?
That's the only reason Jake is going through the things that they going through to this extent. The Lord is preparing us, man, for the hell to come, you know, and going through these experiences is gonna have our mind right, man. But could I read this?
Yeah,
real quick?
go ahead.
This is the book of 2 Samuel chapter 12 and verse uh I'm verse 15. I'm verse 14. Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Lord to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto thee shall surely die. Now, this is after King David committed adultery. Nathan was coming to him, gave him the parable. You know, he realized what he did. We could read about the prayer in Psalms, the 51st chapter. But the Lord was telling him that that seed that he had when he committed adultery, that seed was going to die, right? But let's keep reading. It says, and Nathan departed into his house, and the Lord Yahweh struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto David, and it was very sick. David therefore besought the Most High for the child, and David fasted and went in and lay all night upon the earth. So obviously his desire was that the Lord would have mercy on that seed, right? It says, and the elders of the house arose and went to him to raise him up from the earth, but he would not, neither did he eat bread with them. And it came to pass on the seventh day that the child died. And the servants of David feared to tell him that the child was dead, for they said, behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead?
Right. So they thought he was gonna be worse than what
Right.
he already was, man.
Oh, he actually, hey, he gonna be blue, you know. It says, but when David saw that his servants whispered, David perceived that the child was dead.
Yeah, perceptive, man. You know, he was able to perceive. He seen what was going on, and he knew it in the spirit. Like,
Trying to avoid him. it says, therefore David said unto his servants, is the child dead? And they said, he is dead. Then David arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came into the house of the Lord Yahweh and worshiped. Then he came to his own house
and came and worshipped. So it didn't go with the way he thought, the way he hoped, but yet thy will be done, Lord.
Yeah.
Right?
Then he came to his own house, and when he required, they set bread before him, and he did eat. Then said his servants unto him, what thing is this that thou hast done? Thou didst fast and weep for the child while it was alive, but when the child was dead, thou didst rise and eat bread. And he said, while the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, who can tell whether the Most High will be gracious to me that the child may live? But now he is dead, wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me.
But see, we in the end now.
Mm-hmm.
We in the end now. See, King David was like, well, he ain't coming back, but I'm gonna die and go to him. We in the time where they gonna come back to us, man. You know, because we at the end now. And see, that's perfect to tie in with what we're gonna read here in Matthew, man. You know, is you finished with that?
Yep. That's it on that.
Go ahead, Doc.
Yep. Back in Matthew 19 and verse 27 again, it's
Just like Job, man. Job seen those children again.
Yeah, 30.
You know, it says he was able to see his children's children, man. That was his children coming back again. But go ahead.
verse 27 in Matthew 19, it says, then answered Peter and said unto him,
Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahushua said unto them,
And keep in mind, like we mentioned, man, and whatever's been given us since we've been following the Lord, it should still have in the mind not to be entangled with it, man. You know, because I believe, I've been, just speaking as a man, but I perceive, that whatever brothers was given while in the faith, they ain't got that same viewpoint as something you had before. I hope I make sense in what I'm saying, man. Because it's like, okay, whatever, I had before I came into the faith, that's lost. But whatever the Lord's give me while I'm in the faith, it's a different perspective, man. Nah, it's the same thing as when you can't, all things is counted lost. All things is counted dung. Let's hold that. Philippians the 3rd chapter. Even whatever the Lord gives me while still on this journey, it's still on the altar. But go ahead.
It says, and Yahushua said unto them, Verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory.
It takes faith to believe that, bro. He's saying that whatever you lost and forsaken, it's going to be back in another time, in another life. He said in the regeneration, right? Go ahead.
It says, Ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And everyone that have forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive an hundredfold, and shall inherit everlasting life.
Come on now, man. It takes faith to believe that whatever you forsook in this current, present evil world will be given back unto you in the world to come, 100-fold. What? It's pretty much said abundantly, man. You had one house with a mortgage. You stop paying that motherfucker, it wouldn't even be your house no more. Right? Or say, my house paid off. Yeah, but now you got to pay a land tax. Stop paying that land tax. Because you don't own the land that your house is on.
Nothing is truly ours.
I own my own acres, brother. I own, Well, all right. Now that shit gonna be burned up, nigga. Deal with that now. America about to be destroyed. Deal with that now. See, whatever we have here, man, it's only temporary. We can't get caught up in the things that we see. That's why Paul said what? We look not at the things that are seen, but at the things that are not seen. Because the things that are seen are temporal, but the things that are not seen are eternal. Roughly paraphrasing 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter, man. Everything here, man. But go ahead.
It says, But many that are first shall be last.
No, that was it.
I just want to grab that word forsaken. It's the Greek word apemi. It says to send away, to bid go away or depart. It says to send forth. It says to let go, let alone to disregard.
And to let go is talking about to let from the mind.
Exactly.
Because you have things that you still, like for instance, man, Yahushua wasn't saying leave your wife. He wasn't saying don't be a father to your children. Like, no, those things, it's not, those things are still there. Your woman's still there, your children's still there, you're still providing for them. It tells us if any man provide not for his house,
He's worse than that.
He's denied the faith and worse than an infidel, meaning a non-believer. So the Lord ain't telling you to be a deadbeat dad. That ain't what he was telling you, man. Right? But he's saying that what? Your focus, your mind is not on being father of the year. It's on serving Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And those things are what? Or secondary or third or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying, within the priority list, man. But that serving Yahweh Shem Yahushua should be the number one priority. This is what Yahushua is telling us, man. You got something?
Yeah. This is 2 Timothy 2:3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach. no man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier.
The affairs of this life. That's the totality of it, bro.
Yeah. Can't get too entangled with my woman. Can't get too entangled with my child. Can't get too entangled with
Your land,
job,
your house,
nothing.
your brothers, sisters, mother, father.
Yeah.
Like you said, your job.
You know, entangled is you getting caught up. You too attached to it. You know, there's certain things. It's like you just can't. You just cannot get too attached to it, man. Because then that will hinder us from letting it go when the time it comes to let it go.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of these people, majority of these people, is going to take the C head because they're so attached to things of this world that the only way they can seem to hold on to it is by taking the C head.
Yeah. And a lot of things the Lord tests us on so we can detach, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
To
know,
be separated.
see
from
those see
That's fact.
if we of that number, nothing is gonna I seen the brother quoted earlier, posted earlier in Romans 8. You know, a lot of Paul was speaking from the perspective like, look, nothing finna separate us from the love. But if you are of the elect, you could be too attached to something, you could be entangled to something, and the Lord is gonna cause you to detach from it. Like,
right. Or Lord can have a situation, a woman you cared about could be too entangled with her, cause her to bug out.
yep, put spirits on her,
Right.
have her tweak.
Yeah.
You know, and you'll be like, damn man, why
And
she?
now you ain't got no choice but to let it go.
Yeah,
You have no choice but to let it go.
Yep.
So that's how it is in the spirit, man. And that's the spirit, because that was something, we was talking about earlier. I was like, man, coming into the faith, like mentality, and it was a brother that actually mentioned it in the lesson as well, man. I believe it was the head brother out in Atlanta, Taiwan, man. But pretty much, man, whatever it is that we're too attached to, man.
Yeah, how did he say it? Whatever we don't want to put on, whatever we don't want to sacrifice becomes the sacrifice.
Exactly. Yep. Have the water, So it's like, if you ain't willing to separate and you can't do it yourself, then the Lord will put a monkey wrench in the situation to where you're forced to do it. And
that's
I've seen that happen.
if you are of that number,
right?
Because
Certain people get
you'll
caught
fall
up.
out right behind it, man.
Seen that happen. Guys get caught up to entangle with a woman that they
Yep.
care about.
Yep.
Or
their job.
Yep.
Or their family.
So these are things that the Lord is putting us in the proper mindset. Like, look, we have to let all this shit go. Going back into that Philippians.
Yeah. Go ahead.
This is Philippians chapter.
You was done with what you read, right?
Let me just read it again. 2 Timothy 2:4.
You went into that Greek word entangle. Which,
I didn't go into.
Well, what word did you look up
I
and said let go?
Let go from that Matthew 19.
Oh, okay. Con.
But actually, since you had mentioned that, let me look up that word entangle.
That's the spirit though. It made me think of because we have ended up watching that movie Maverick, the Top Gun Maverick. And he was talking to Ice. When he went to go talk to Ice, he was telling him to let go of like the past and stuff like that. And that's what kind of just made me think about that. Now that's cool.
Yeah, because that was fucking with his mind.
Yeah.
And he told him to let it go.
Let it go.
Yep.
Yeah, that word entangle, it's impleco. It says to weave of a thing, to entangle, involve in, right? But it says involved with, and then it goes back to like plaits, like a braid. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, interwoven.
Yeah, interwoven. So it's like our mind can get too interwoven with the things of this world, man. Too caught up in it, But reading this verse again.
Yeah, because certain things it's given a certain amount of attention. You know what I'm saying? It's not saying to neglect those things. No, it's saying to put things into a proper perspective, man. Of course, you give a certain amount of attention to your woman. You give a certain amount of attention to your job. You give a certain amount of attention to your children. But your full energy, right? Your full being is given over to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, because that's how you truly know how to properly manage those things. You know how to deal with your woman because you're giving yourself over to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. You know how to deal with your children because you're giving over to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. You know how to maneuver at your job because you are given over to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. You see? because it gives us the wisdom of how to properly maneuver and deal with things, man. So you ain't overreacting. So you ain't being rash. You know, you hearing about certain things and certain, it puts you in a proper perspective, man.
Yeah. Because when you think about a woman, like a certain woman that Jake had and everything like that, see, when it's a woman that you actually cared about, that your mom was really into, you really love, it hurts worse when she transgresses against you, or that'll affect you more than some slut out here, whatever the case it may be. But the only reason I bring that up as an example is the more that we're engulfed in certain things, the more our mind is entangled in it, the more that it affects us. So it's like we have to be able to not get too entangled, too attached to it, to where it won't,
We got to learn to balance.
Yeah.
It's not saying not to love, because you do love you know what I'm saying? But if it's shit, if they bug out,
and knowing that it's on the altar, already going back to the Philippians, counting it down. If I could read it real.
Same thing with your children. There are brothers in the faith whose children are grown. So it's like they hope. It's like, man, I hoped that he would have came in the faith with me, and you know what I'm saying. And but he a full-fledged nigga. But you don't think the brother in his mind is praying for his seed, But the nigga's a full-fledged nigga. So it's like, man, you know what? It's all of the Lord.
Yeah, like we said,
you don't think that brother loves his seed? Of course he loves his seed, but at the end of the day,
it says, I'm gonna finish that verse and then hit that Philippians 2 Timothy 3 and 4. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who had chosen him to be a soldier. So the purpose of not being entangled with these things is so that we can please Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. If we get too entangled with them, then with these different things, man, we can end up not pleasing the Lord.
It's that scene in Dead Presidents.
Oh yeah, with the picture of
Chris Tucker with Smokey and Lorenz Tate. Who I think he played O-Dog in Menace to Society. Smokey and O-Dog. But he was like, man, what did Chris Tucker say to him, man? He's like, man, let me see her, man. You got a daughter, man. Let me see, let me see her, man. Or you don't write to her, or something. He said, and he was like, man, I keep thinking about that shit, man. He said, focus and thinking about that shit to get me killed out here. And that's real, man. We got to remember what it says. I believe it's Sirach 9. It says that we walk upon the battlements of the city. We're at a war right now, man. So we can't get too caught up in once, like the scripture says, in the affairs of this life, because we're at war. Being at war, Jake mind what it says about King David. Him and the Hushai council. He said they are chafed in their mind like a bear robbed of her whelps, man. And this is how the Lord is. He's bringing us along that same pathway,
making us safe.
Yeah,
shaped in the spirit.
Yeah.
Hard. Once again, man, I was talking to a brother on the phone. It's like, hey, the Lord giving us those spiritual calluses, man. For these times that we're entering into, man, we're gonna have thicker skin.
And the shit hurt.
Yeah.
Like for instance, motherfuckers that had those calluses over their shins. Like niggas that's kick Muay Thai and kickboxers and shit.
They're literally shattering their bones.
They literally shatter their bones where it come back, Or you get boxers, you get calluses over the knuckles. When you first start punching something, that shit hurt. But after a while, man, it's like now you could just, you know what I'm saying? That shit hurt though.
Yeah.
But after a while, it hardens up. And it's the same thing that the Lord is bringing us through, in our everyday life,
This is Philippians 3 and 7. But what things were gained to me, those I counted loss for Yahushua. Yea, doubtless, and I count all things but loss.
All things, that ain't just talking about what we forsook when we came into the faith. That's talking about whatever the Lord has given us all the way up until this point, man. All the way up until we get into those chariots. Lord's will. We hope that, what the Lord has given us in the form of wives, children, we hope that, these things are able to come with us, but at the end of the day, what if they don't? That's a possibility, man. What if they don't?
Then what?
We gotta have the mentality of, well, I'm gonna get them back. I'm gonna meet you on the other side then.
Right.
It's like we going across the river. You don't want to come across? I'll meet you on the other side then. You know? Yeah, I'll see you later.
See you later.
You know?
It says, yea, doubtless not count all things but loss for the excellency of the knowledge of Yahushua Mashiach, my Lord, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things, and do count them but dung, that I may win Yahushua. That's what it is, man. Like the brother's been mentioning, man, it's everything's on that altar, you know, and the Lord is going to try us to see if it really is on the altar. You know, if we are too entangled, too caught up with certain things, man, you know, just like he tried with Abraham, man, he tried him with something that he loved the most. And like we've been saying through the spirit, you know, hey, the Lord is gonna push us to our limits, you know. And Yahushua was sweating blood.
Yeah. And you will find out that it really wasn't your limit. Because the Lord ain't gonna put on us the more we can bear. So whatever you hold, the Lord know you able to push that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you'll realize, like, damn, I can go heavier than this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You thought you couldn't,
Right.
but you realize, like, damn,
I can deal with some shit.
Yeah.
Hey, like
You know?
Yeshaya said in the lesson, man, and it was heavy. Yeah, I said in the lesson, I think it was earlier this week, man. He was like, man, what the Lord has deemed unbreakable, it won't break. And he quoted that precept in the book of Psalms where it was speaking that it was prophecy with Yahushua, where it says, none of his bones shall break. It's like, man, when it comes down to the elect, man, it don't matter what we go through, man. Hey, the spirit is gonna have us overcome and get the victory through our faith. We not gonna break. And we have to believe that, man. It's through the faith in Yahushua, man.
Yeah. And even ourselves, you know, because we gotta keep that same perspective when we're in that.
Yeah.
You know, because what the old saying goes, it's easy to, you know, like fuck, basically, with an armchair quarterback, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, the motherfucker sitting watching the quarterback play it on man, he was wide open. Man, this nigga sucked. You know what I'm saying? All right, man, he could have, you know, but then you get your ass in there and you got 300-pound men running down at
I
you.
ain't know they was that tall.
You know,
It's different now.
it's totally different when you're in that position.
Right.
You know, so you can easily say, no, that's easy, man. Throw it to him. And he was wide open. And then all of a sudden, nigga, you get behind center. And
Everything moving back.
you realize, you know. So we gotta keep that same energy though, man. You know?
I can back you up.
Yeah.
This Job 4:3. Behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened the weak hands. Thy words have upholden him that was fallen, and thou hast strengthened the feeble knees. But now it is come upon thee, and thou faintest. It toucheth thee, and thou art troubled. You know, so hey, keeping that in mind, man. Like here it is. You know, we're doing these lessons. You know, we're telling, hey, man, fuck this world, man. The things of this place, man. We just seek to the kingdom, man, and this and that and the third. And when we're in these different situations, we want to show that same energy through the spirit, you know. Like we was talking about, man. Hey, the Lord is going to try. Hey, what was that quote that you had just saw the elder had posted?
Yeah. Matter of fact, that was hella spiritual.
Yeah, we was in the midst of having that conversation. And
the elder bro, Hawad, out of North Carolina, the brother shared a post, which he posted it with a precept. I'm gonna read the precept first. Sirach 2:4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. And the post is, remember, you will be tested to see if you're truly committed to the life you say you want.
that's right. That's right. So I mean, the Lord gonna see if we really about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because
Straight
you
up.
just read, like, you were able to encourage and you were able to strengthen, you know what I'm saying, other men. But now affliction and hell came upon you and you faint. Well, we get the same encouragement we give to other men, we have to give to ourselves. This is the book of 1 Samuel 30:5. It says, and David's two wives were taken captives, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess and Abigail, the wife of Nabal the Carmelite, right? So backdrop of the situation of the story once again. David went out with the Philistines They ended up sending them back because the other princes of the Philistines didn't trust them, right? So when David came back to where they was encamped at, the Amalekites came through, burned everything, and took all the women and children captive, man. So all the men was distressed, their children was gone, their wives was taken. So all David's men was talking about stoning them, man. Because they was blaming David for the situation. But keep in mind, David's wives was taken as well. So David is a part of this affliction on top of taking the blame from all the other men, right? Verse 6. And David was greatly distressed. When you go into that word distressed, it's the Hebrew word yatazal. Yatazal, it says to bind, to distress, be in distress, be cramped, be narrow. It goes back into what we read, I think moved.
Yeah, no man moved.
No man should be moved. I think it ties in to be in straits or narrow. Yep, to be in distress, to be straightened. And it went into the same word. Matter of fact, let me just verify that real quick. First Thessalonians, let's go back to that. First Thessalonians 3:3. Greek word moved. Yep, same thing. One is a Greek definition, one is a Hebrew definition, but it's going into the same thing. 1 Samuel 30:6, and David was greatly distressed, for the people spake of stoning him, because the soul of all the people was grieved, every man for his sons and for his daughters. But David encouraged himself in Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, his God, man. So that's what we have to do, man. We have to encourage ourselves, man. And the Lord's so cold, bro. The Lord will send us encouragement, and we think it's ourselves. And the reason I say that is when Satan came to tempt Yahushua when he was hungry, after he won that victory, after he won that temptation, what did it say? The angels came and ministered unto him. Same thing in the Garden of Gethsemane. In that moment of pressing. It says that the angels came and ministered unto him. Well, in the book of Hebrews, it says, are they not ministers unto the heirs? That's what the Holy Spirit is. So if we're in a moment and we have a precept pop in our mind, that's the angels giving us the precept in that moment, man. That's the angels ministering unto us.
Comfort in our afflictions.
So if we're able to encourage ourselves in that moment through certain precepts, and those precepts actually comfort us in that moment, that's the Lord sending the angels to minister unto us, man. And that's truly how we encourage ourselves. It's really the Lord.
Yeah.
It's really the Lord.
Well, it says the Lord is the strength of our heart in Psalms 27, man. So the Lord, He's the one that's strengthening us, man. We're only enduring through the Lord giving us strength.
Yeah. Well, if we ain't got nothing else, I'm gonna go back to this and just finish it out. Back in 1 Thessalonians 3:3, that no man should be moved fiery trials to try you. 1 Peter 4. It says that no man should be moved by these afflictions. For yourselves know that Slaki, let me slow down. For yourselves know that we are appointed thereunto. For verily, when we were with you, we told you before that we should suffer tribulation, even as it came to pass, and ye know. So it's a part of it, man. It's a part of it, right? Hey, and the clip, the elder bro, Amawanga Gabal shared, it was a lady. There's gonna come in a time where the people was gonna news flash, sister. They're already here, man. They're already here. Because she was saying that people was going to come. Yeah, no, they're already here, man. But one thing she said they shall eat persecution like candy. She was like, they ain't gonna be no respect of persons. She said they gonna speak about judgment, and come on, man. But one thing she said they shall eat persecution like candy, man. You hear or you see certain things that man is going through, bro, and you like, God damn. That's only that, bro. That man is persevering only through the Spirit of the Lord, bro. Through the faith that the Lord has given that man. That's why it says in Timothy, it says, many of the brethren waxing bold through my bonds are much more open to speak the word. I'm roughly, I think I just butchered it, by the way. but it spoke about men hearing what Paul was going through and the afflictions that the Lord was delivering him out of, and it encouraged and it emboldened the men to teach the word without fear, man. You know, so once again, it's just another testimony because that testimony can encourage and strengthen the next man. You know, but y'all got it.
This is 1 Peter 4:12. Beloved, thinking not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice, inasmuch as ye are partakers of Yahweh's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, you may be glad also with exceeding joy.
It's like, can you read that again?
Verse 12, beloved, thinking not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try
Which
you.
is the trials. Now, the first chapter goes into what? That the trial of our faith being much more precious than gold, you know? So it's all a part of our testing, man. It's all a part of our strengthening. It's all a part of our perfection. You know, go ahead.
It says, beloved, thinking not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice, inasmuch as ye are partakers of Yahweh's suffering.
Man, bro. It says that if we suffer with him, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he will also deny us. You know? So being a partaker of his affliction, man, in whatever we going through, man. Go ahead.
That when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy.
Man, bro. Man, bro. Like it says in Hebrews 12, man. You know, it ain't joyous, it's grievous. What it says in Sirach, it speaks about a hour of affliction, maketh the man to forget, you know, prosperity. So, man, you know, that shit hurt, man. That shit hurt. You know, but once again, when you look at this, you know, these different, you know, situations that our forefathers were in, man. Once again, it don't tell you what they were feeling in that moment. You know, like King David, once again, his son coming up against him, man. You know what I'm saying? That bro, that's something heavy right there, bro.
Yeah.
And we know it was heavy because even when he died, the way he mourned for Absalom after he found out he was dead, man. So just imagine how he was feeling when he was, you know, he probably had hopes like, man, the Lord gonna correct him. He gonna come to me and apologize, and we gonna get straight. You know what I'm saying? So then he heard that he was dead, and then Joab came and told him what he told him. You know, so he had to, man. You know what? And deal with the death of his son, man. The son that tried to take the throne from him. And that's just one example of many of our different forefathers, man.
Yeah.
Going through all kind of hell for the names of Yahweh. Why Yahweh Shai, man?
Yeah.
You know?
And that's the thing, like, you know, just as you're speaking, I'm thinking, I'm like, shoot, a lot of the times, like you said, you got to read those things in between the line, but we always just read about pretty much how they respond, you know, how they responded to the fire, you know, dealt with the different things and so on and so forth, man. But to read, hey, these situations, we find ourselves in them in an emotional, you know, turmoil, so to speak, but yet we still got to respond like our forefathers, like the examples that are, you know, that's left for us to go after.
How they reason in the fire.
Yep. The trial of a man is in his reason.
And that's how we know their names to this day.
Yep.
You know? And now we have their testimonies that's written.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So what we going through, man, is just another testimony. You know, if we have faith that hey, we stand on these precepts, the Lord is going to deliver us out of it because we already overcame it. You know, then it's just another testimony, man. You know, so Lord, we all hope this was edifying. I hope it was encouraging, uplifting through the Holy Spirit. The Wadi Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, for giving us the spirit to do this lesson. We're going to give all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this word. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all you brothers who are preaching the gospel in truth and sincerity, always in charity. And shalom.
Shalom.